everyone, welcome back to Nail Swiffer Films. I'm currently working on a review which turned out to be way longer than I intended. Also, I'm waiting for some nail supplies to do the next set, so in the meantime, I decided to try something other than reviews. Today, I'll be going through how I made the Flash and Batman nails for my The Flash review video. Link in the description. I wouldn't call this a tutorial. I don't think I'm good enough to be teaching people yet. I'm just going through how I did the nails, so please comment below if you have any suggestions for me. Anyway, let's get right into it. First, the supplies I used. By the way, nothing is sponsored in this video. I'm not big enough for that yet. I'm not paid to do any of this. So if anyone at Apres, Glam, or Seaweed Gel sees this and likes what I'm doing, please send me free stuff. Just kidding. They probably don't care about a creator with only 17 subscribers. Anyway, the supplies. I used Apres Gel X Natural Almond Short size 1 for my thumbs. Gel X tips are pretty popular for making press-on nails, and I like them because you can buy individual sizes instead of a whole box. As you can see, I mostly make nails for myself, so it's great that I can only buy the sizes that fit my nails. It's not necessarily cheaper to buy the individual sizes, but it's better than stocking up on tips you don't need. Because the cuticle of my thumbs are not straight, they're slightly angled. I actually needed to file the bottom of the tips to match the cuticles of my nails. If I didn't do this, the nails wouldn't be straight when I put them on. So after filing the tips to fit my nails and filing off the prickly end using an 100 grit file, I buffed them with a 180 grit file to remove the shine. You don't really need to use base coats on nail tips, but you should buff them so that gel polishes stay on longer. Next, for the base color, which is essentially the skin color of the Flash and Batman, I used 2 coats of Glam's Smelly Cat gel polish. I used this color for most of my nail art with faces. As for the nail art itself, usually I use acrylic paint or gouache. They're thinner, which makes them easier to control and better for drawing details. They're also a lot cheaper than gel polishes, and you can mix the colors you need yourself. I use Golden Fluid Acrylics, Carbon Black, and Holbein Gouache. I started by outlining the eyes, which made it easier for me to figure out where the rest of the features would go. The lines don't need to be perfect. As you can see, I drew the right eye twice to make it the shape I wanted. I would fill those in with white later, so it's fine if the black lines are too thick. The same with the mouth. I actually didn't need to draw the teeth now because I will cover the area with white later. After outlining the eyes, nose, and mouth using black, I covered the eyes and mouth with white and just put a small dot in each eye as pupils. I wanted this cringy excuse of a character to look distressed, so I made the pupil as small as possible. That's also why I added the black curves below his eyes earlier. Next, I used red gouache to mainly outline where his mask would be. I plan on using gel polish to do the masks so that they would pop out more. You know, like how masks do in real life. So honestly, it doesn't matter what color you use because it'll be covered by gel polish later. I used red because I wanted to have a better idea how the nail would look eventually. I also touched up the nose and 2 black lines under the eyes because I covered them up unintentionally when painting the red. If you use acrylic paint or gouache to do nail art, remember to put top coat on top to secure the drawing, especially if you plan on using any kind of product on top of the acrylic paint. For these 2 nails, because I wanted to use gel polishes for the masks, I put a layer of top coat to protect the drawing first. If I didn't do that and messed up with the gel polish, the acrylic paint would come off as well if I use alcohol to wipe off the polish. I didn't film myself applying the top coat, but I did do it with Glam's No Wipe top coat after finishing the drawing. Also, remember to wait for the acrylic paint to dry before applying the top coat. If the paint is still somewhat wet, the top coat would drag the wet paint all over the nail, just like when you apply top coat on top of not fully dried regular nail polish. So be a little patient. Acrylic paint dries really fast. Just wait for 30 seconds or so before putting the top coat on. Now that I had protected the acrylic paint with top coat, I used Matte & Glam's Perfect Red for the Flashes mask. I dripped a small amount of polish on my plate to make it easier to dip. Some of it will go to waste, but it's much easier than opening up the bottle every single time to get some polish on your brush. Following the outline I did earlier with red gouache, I filled in the mask area with my red polish. Then just cure it for 2 minutes under a UV lamp or 1 minute under LED. After curing the gel polish, I used yellow gouache to add the lightning on his mask, and that was basically it. Just put top coat on the mask area, cure it, and it's done. Similarly, for the Batman nail, after putting on 2 coats of Smelly Cat, I used black acrylic paint to draw the features of Batman and the outline of his mask. Because there was an empty space above the mask, I filled it in with gray acrylic paint. After filling in the white for the mouth and eyes, touching up any black that I accidentally covered up with white, I put a layer of top coat and cured. Then for the mask, I used Seaweed Gel's 3-step Sarah. Fill the mask area with the black gel and cure. Lastly, I used the same gray paint as the space near the cuticle to add some details to the mask, mostly to make Batman look like he was in dismay. Put top coat on the mask area, cure it, and it's done. That's basically how I did these 2 nails. Because I hated the movie, I didn't care to make them look accurate. In fact, the uglier they looked, the better. You can definitely make them cuter or change the facial expressions, etc., etc. Anyway, hope you guys find this video helpful. Like I said, this isn't really a tutorial, just me going through how I made the nails. I've also listed the supplies I used in the description. If you have any questions or suggestions for me, feel free to leave them in the comments. As always, like, subscribe, comment, share, do what you want, keep nailing it, and remember to check out my The Flash movie review video if you haven't yet, people.